Hello, everyone. A very good morning. It's good to meet you all in another workshop. So, no matter how good your support is or what tool you use, this workshop is definitely going to help you. Because if you are using, if you're following the traditional way, you will understand how Zoho Desk can help you make things better. And if you're a Zoho Desk user, this workshop provides you an opportunity to explore, various unexplored features. As you know, the topic for today is enriching customer support through automation. I'm John Wilfred, an evangelist with Zoho, so is my colleague Anjana Mahesh, and we will be your hosts for today. And today, once again, we have Sri Hari and John Deepak with us today, who are experts in a wide range of Zoho products. John Deepak will be behind the screen answering all your questions, and Sri Hari will be your trainer. So before we start, I'd like to point out a few key important points. Make sure that you have signed into your Zoho account to shadow our actions. You may need admin privileges to access certain features within Zoho Desk. And please do not mess with the existing settings. Create a test instance of anything you wish to try. Our agenda for today is quite simple. We'll have a quick overview of the session, followed by the hands on session, and finally, we'll wrap it up with a quick recap. So, without further ado, I would like to welcome Sri Hari to take the session forward. Sri Hari, the virtual stage is all yours.
Thank you, John, and good morning, everybody. I'm so glad to meet you people for the second time in row. Today, I would like to share my insights on enriching your customer support through automation powered by Zoho Desk. I believe I'm addressing a very mixed group of audience. Some of you should be experts with Zoho products yourselves, and some of you should be beginners. I will make sure that the tone and the tenor of the session reaches each one of you. I thought it would be more appropriate if I could define three problem statements and link these three problem statements with the solution we offer with the Zoho Desk system. So now let's quickly see what are these three different problem statements. As your business grows, how are you going to allocate right piece of work to right people? And how are we going to acknowledge and resolve issues on time? And thirdly, we shall discuss how we would be able to initiate time-based actions. So let's quickly jump into the session. So the first problem statement that we are going to discuss today is this. As your business scales up, how are we going to allocate right piece of work to right people? Allocating right piece of work to right people might sound simple when your business is small, when your team is small, and when you work in a small environment. But as your business and customer base scales up or grows exponentially, allocating right piece of work to right people might end up being a nightmare. Especially when you receive more than 100 tickets a day, you will have to spend a lot of time manually understanding the nature of the ticket, analyzing the ticket, and manually allocating them to the agents, which means you will have to spend a lot of time on of your business hours understanding the tickets rather than doing meaningful productive work. I believe you'll agree with me. To address this problem, Zoho Desk has this feature called assignment tool, using which right piece of work can be allocated to right agent in your Zoho Desk system automatically the moment the ticket is created. It doesn't stop with that. You should also choose to route tickets across the departments based on any metrics that you define. You can choose to route tickets and assign them to the agents based on maybe the region from which the ticket comes in, or the nature of the ticket, or the domain knowledge of the agents, or any other metrics for that matter. So now let's quickly jump into Zoho Desk and see how are we going to set up this assignment tool. So let me quickly go to my Zoho desk. So all you need to do right now is to log into your desk.zoho.com. Once you do that, this is the screen that you'd able to see. And on the top right hand side of the screen, you will see this gear icon. Okay. As you click on this gear icon, it would show up this page wherein the setup page of your Zoho desk. all the three features that we are going to discuss today is all about automation. So you would find all the features under the automation section. So underneath automation, you would have the first feature called assignment rules. So this is what I'm going to speak about right now. So as I click on the assignment rule, it would show me a screen wherein on the top right hand side of the screen, I would have this button called New Direct Assignment. As I click on the button, it would show up the screen wherein it would mandate me to give a name for this rule. Before creating this, I would like to just explain you my use case so that it has more relevance. I run a support agency, and what I'm trying to achieve right now is that I'm going to route the tickets from my customers based on the region. So I have a department in my Zoho desk called Australian support. So tickets coming from the Australian customers should be automatically routed to this specific department called Australian support. Let's see how we are going to do that. So to have more relevance, I will name this rule as Australian support. And next comes the point wherein you can choose when this rule has to be executed. You can either choose to execute this rule whenever a ticket is created, or also you shall choose to execute this rule whenever a ticket is edited or updated. So in my case, I choose to trigger this assignment rule the moment the ticket is created. So if you could see the bottom part of the screen, you would see this button called Add Target. As you click on this Add Target button, it would show up or prompt a screen wherein we are going to define how these tickets are going to be routed. Either you can the first part that you would see is that the list of departments in your Zoho desk. So either you can choose to route the tickets coming to a specific department with a certain criteria to be routed to another department in your Zoho desk and have it assigned to a specific agent. In my case, what I'm trying to do is this: tickets coming to any of the departments in my Zoho desk, if the criteria is, I have this field called phone number two, wherein I create a criteria in such a way that if this field called phone number two starts with 61, which is the dialing code for Australian region. So whenever a ticket is created and if it has this phone number two field that starts with 6161, which conclusively mean that this is my Australian customer. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to move or route these tickets to this department called Australian support. And not just that, I have a special agent to take care of my Australian customers, and her name is Vanity. I'm going to have these tickets automatically assigned to the specific agent in this department of Australian support. So I have set my rule. So let me quickly tell you what I did. So tickets coming to any of the departments in Zoho Desk, if it happens to satisfy the below criteria, namely phone number two starts with 61, then I'm going to route this ticket automatically to Australian support and have them assigned to this agent called Vanity. So let me quickly click on save, and my rule is now created. So now let's see how this is going to work in the real time. So what I'm going to do right now, as a customer, I'm going to sign up to the help center of Zoho Desk. For people who are new to Zoho Desk, or if you are beginners, for your information, Help Center is a customer portal using which your customers would be able to raise a ticket, see the status of the existing ticket, study the knowledge base articles that you have published for your organization, and participate in community forum. To see how this direct assignment rule that I created right now is going to work, I'm going to have myself logged in as a end user on the help center. So I'm just going to log in as a customer, and I'm giving my username and password. 0302@gmail.com, and I'm giving my password, and I'm signing in. So as I sign into the help center, I'd be able to see a number of features like my area. As I told you earlier, I'd be able to see, a history of all the tickets that I've raised to this organization. So what I'm going to do right now, as a customer, I'm going to add a ticket. So I click on add ticket option, and I give a subject called I need help. Please help me. And then I have this phone number field. If you could remember, I have set up a criteria. So I'm giving my phone number, which starts with 61. So I click on submit. As I click on submit, the moment I click on submit, if you could see the right-hand side of the screen as a customer, you would be able to see that the ticket, the moment it was created, it was automatically assigned to the specific agent in the Australian department named Vanity. So now let's see how this ticket is going to actually look on your admin interface. So I come back here to the tickets module. As I come back here to the tickets module, I choose to switch to this department called Australian support. And you would be able to see this ticket that I created right now from the help center of Zoho Desk, automatically routed to this department called Australian support and assigned to this agent called Vanati, who is a region expert. And if I click on the history tab of the ticket, I would be able to see on how this ticket was created. If you could see here, it would show the name of the customer and he has submitted it through the help center of Zoho Desk. Not just that, it shows you how assignment rule was applied to the ticket and how the ticket was moved from this department called ABC Communication to Australian support, and automatically how it was assigned to this region expert named Vanati. Isn't it interesting? I know many of you are looking to shadow the same in your test instance or on your environment as well. So maybe what I shall do, let me pause the session for 2 minutes so that you shall try to replicate or shadow the same in your environment. So all you need to do right now is to click on the settings icon or the gear icon on the top right corner of your Zoho Desk, which would show up your setup page. So among your setup page, you would see this section called automation. So underneath automation, you would have this rule called assignment rule. As you click on the assignment rule, it would show up a screen wherein you can give a name for the rule. As you give the name for the rule, you can define as to when this rule has to be executed. So you can choose to execute this rule whenever the ticket is created or when it is updated. Now, if you could see the bottom part of the screen, you would have this button called Add Target. As you click on Add Target, it would show up a screen wherein you can set up a criteria for your assignment rule. So either you can choose to route all the tickets coming to a specific department based on a criteria to another department. So if you could remember my case, I set it up in such a way that any tickets coming to any of the departments satisfying this criteria called phone number starts with 61, it would be automatically routed to this department called Australian support and have them assigned to users. And I would like to discuss another use case with you at this point of time. Let's consider there is no such automation in place to allocate tickets to different users in your Zoho Desk system. So when your system is bombarded with lots of ticket, people who are working on the ticket tend to attend the easier tickets at first, and there are some cases wherein the tougher tickets are left unaddressed for a long time, or also in some cases they are abandoned, right? To address this problem, to make sure that the tickets are equally distributed among various agents in the Zoho Desk system, we have this special feature called round robin scheduling, using which we would be able to allocate these tickets in a round robin fashion to the users or the agents in a specific department. So now let's see how round robin scheduling is going to work. As I click on the setup icon on the top right corner, underneath automation, I would again see this option called assignment rule. As you click on that, and if you could now see the left hand side of the screen, you would see this option called round robin. So I choose to create a round robin scheduling right now. I click on add round robin. So for your information, there are certain features in Zoho Desk that are department specific. That is, if a rule is applied in a specific department, it would be working only for the tickets that are created in the department. So round robin scheduling is one such feature. What we are going to do right now, we are not going to route these tickets across department, but within a specific department, we are going to equally distribute or load share the ticket among the agents in the department. That is the whole ideology behind the round robin scheduling. So to have more relevance, it would first ask you to enter the name of the rule. I name it as equal distribution so that it has more relevance. So equal distribution. And if you could see the bottom part of the screen, you would see this button called add target. As I click on add target, it would prompt me the screen wherein again I can set up a criteria here so that tickets satisfying these specific criteria alone would be allocated in a round robin fashion. So I choose to allocate any tickets created in this department in a round robin fashion. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to choose the right department to have this done, and I'm going to create a new round robin assignment. I name it as equal distribution. I click on add target. So beneath the criteria, uh, as I told you earlier, I'm going to do this for all the records. All the tickets created in this specific department, right? So I choose to now allocate users in a round robin fashion. So as I click here on assign tickets to, it would show me a list of agents added to this specific department called ABC Communication. So I'm looking to allocate it to Peter Sam, Sri Hari, and Vanati in a round robin fashion. And these are the three agents in this specific department. So I click on save. My round robin rule is now created. So just to see how this is going to work in the real time, what I'm going to do right now is I'm again going to go back to the help center of Zoho Desk and raise a series of tickets as a customer and actually see how this round robin scheduling will work. So let me now switch back to the help center of Zoho Desk. So I'm back to the help center of Zoho Desk, and as a customer, uh, I'm going to raise a series of tickets to see how this is going to work. So I name it as help one. I need help. I give the description of this ticket and I click on submit. So as I click on submit, if you could see here, and I go ahead and I create another ticket. I name it as need help too, and I click on submit. And if you could notice these two tickets that I created right now, the help one and need help two, you could see that this ticket was automatically assigned to this agent called Vanati. And the second ticket that I created was automatically assigned to the another agent called Peter Sam. So the moment the ticket is created, based on this round robin scheduling, it was assigned to the available agents in my Zoho Desk system. So let me quickly switch back to my Zoho Desk admin panel. And I'm going here to the tickets module of Zoho Desk, and I'm switching to the right department, which is ABC Communications. I'd be able to see all the tickets in the department. And again, if you could see here, one ticket was assigned to Vanati, another ticket that I created was assigned to Peter Sam in a round robin fashion. So if I could open any one of the tickets and click on the history, I would be again able to see the source from which the ticket has come in, and also the rule that was applied on the ticket. And not just that, any information that you're trying to collect with respect to a ticket. I'm just giving you a gentle tip. So any information that you're trying to gather about a ticket, or if you're looking to know the series of automated and manual actions that has happened on the ticket, if you're looking to analyze it, all you need to do is to open the ticket, click on the history tab of the ticket, and see the history of actions that has happened on the ticket. So you would see right from the ticket creation till the ticket is closed, you would see all automated actions and the manual actions that was applied on the ticket in a single view. So I believe many of you are now interested to replicate the round robin assignment tool on your test environment. So what I shall do, let me again give a pause for 2 minutes and see how this round robin assignment tool actually works. All you need to do right now is to click on the setup icon on the top right corner. Underneath automation, you would see this option called assignment rule. As you click on the assignment rule, on the left-hand side of the screen, you would see this option called round robin as shown in the screenshot. You'll have to click on plus, wherein it would show up a screen. You will have to choose on which department this round robin scheduling has to be applied to. As I told you, this feature is department specific. So you can give a name for the rule. And if you could see the bottom part of the screen, you would see this button called Add Target. So as you click on Add Target, you can choose to set up criterias if needed. In my case, I didn't set up any criteria, so I wanted all tickets coming to the department to be allocated or assigned in a round robin fashion. And then I choose to set up agents who would take care of these tickets. And as you do that, you shall choose to even create tickets from the help center. You can choose to create series of tickets from the help center or even your email channel, and see how this round robin scheduling is going to automatically allocate the tickets among your agents. Okay, so I would like to go back to the second. As I told you, we are going to discuss three problem statements, right? So we discussed the first problem statement and linked them to the solution we offer with Zoho Desk. So the second problem statement that I'm about to discuss is this. How are we going to ensure that the tickets from your customers can be responded and resolved on time? Are you wondering as to why the responded, resolved, and time are in different colors? Because all we are going to see right now is about the response and resolution time that you can frame or set up for your organization. So your business doesn't stop with allocating right piece of work to right people. You will also have to ensure that the tickets from your customers are responded and resolved on time. uh, there is a need to define a response and resolution time frame for the tickets created in your system. It doesn't stop with defining these response and resolution time, but it has to be enforced religiously as a part of your support process to ensure quality support, so that your customers' queries are responded, human acknowledged, and resolved on time. So this is where this special feature called SLA or service level agreement comes to your business picture or comes to your rescue, using which we shall define a standard response and resolution time for a specific department in your organization. When this response or resolution time, that is, whenever this SLA is breached, we shall send automated escalation emails either to the ticket owners themselves or somebody like a manager in the organization. So let's see how we are going to solve this problem with the help of the SLA feature that we have with the Zoho Desk. So Now let me quickly switch back to my Zoho desk. So again, as I click here on the setup icon on the top right corner, underneath automation, I would have this feature called escalate SLA. So as I click on escalate SLA, it would show up the screen. As I was pointing out earlier, there are certain features in Zoho Desk which are department specific. So is SLA. So this feature is again department specific. And if you could see the top right hand side of the screen, you would see a new SLA button using which you shall start creating your SLA. And you can also choose a different department if you're looking to apply this SLA for the tickets in a different department. So I click here on new SLA. It would show me up the screen wherein I would have to give a name. So before creating it, I would like to give you a use case so that it has more relevance. See, I offer two kind of support process. One is classic support, another one is premium support, wherein the premium support is a paid support. So when my customers pay me for the support that I offer to them, then I will have to ensure that as an organization, I follow a standard response and resolution time for my customers, isn't it? So now let's see how I'm going to address this to service all the tickets coming from my premium customers at a lower response and resolution time. So I come here to the screen and I define a name for it. I name it as premium support, maybe, or premium SLA. So the next part comes is that, like, as to when this SLA has to be executed. That is, in other terms, when should the Zoho Desk system start calculating the response and resolution time? So triggering a SLA is nothing but at what instance we are going to start the calculation of the response time and the resolution time. So I will explain in detail about the response and resolution time in few minutes. But first, at this point, let us understand as to when we are going to trigger this SLA. So you can choose to trigger this SLA with any of the options that you see on the screen right now. So as many people ideally do, they choose to calculate the response and resolution time from the moment the ticket was created. So in our case, I'm also going to choose it from the ticket creation, or it can also be when a ticket is updated, or when a specific field in a ticket is updated, or you can start to trigger this SLA when you receive a customer reply, or when your agents responds to the ticket. In any of these instances, you can start calculating the response and resolution time. So now I choose to execute it on ticket creation. So I choose ticket creation and I click on next. As I click on next, it will show me up the screen wherein I would be able to add targets. So I click on add target button, wherein it would show me up the screen. So if you could remember, I told you that I'm going to apply this specific SLA not for all the customers, but only for my premium customers. So to define my premium customers, I have a custom field added into my Zoho Desk called type of support. Okay, so I'm defining it in such a way that if type of support contains premium, okay, if the type of the support contains premium, then I'm going to service the requests coming with this criteria with the below response and resolution time. So the response time defines the time within which I'm supposed to give a response to my customers, and the resolve within, or the resolution time, defines the time within which I'm supposed to resolve or provide a complete resolution to the customer and close the ticket. So this is how we define response and resolution time. So when coming on to the response time, it can be in any of these different metrics. That is, you can choose to set up the response time within minutes, or even hours, or even days. So I choose to set it up within hours. So I set it as 2. That is, within 2 hours of the ticket being created, I'm supposed to send out a response to my customers. So I can choose to have this response time only for the first response that I send out. If this toggle is enabled, which means that only for the first response as I send out as the agent to the customer, I will have to send it within 2 hours. For the consecutive conversations, this response time will not be followed if this option is enabled. But now I choose to have this standard 2 hours time for every response with the series of conversation that I would have with my customers. So I set the response time. And next comes the resolution time or the resolve within, wherein I set it to be 8 hours. So within 2 hours from the time the ticket was created, I'm supposed to respond to my customer. And within 8 hours from the ticket being created, I'm supposed to resolve the ticket and close the ticket. So this is how I've defined my level of support for my premium customers. So this is the whole idea. So if you could see the screen beneath it, you would have these two options called response escalation and resolution escalation. See, now I have set a response time and resolution time. Okay. What if this response and resolution time is breached? What if, as an organization, or my agents weren't able to follow the defined response and resolution time? So there should be some kind of escalation on it, right? So this is where you find these two options beneath it: response escalation and resolution escalation. So under response escalation, if I simply enable this toggle, I can add two levels of escalation. That is, remember, this response escalation would work only if the response time is breached, or if my customer or if my agent wasn't able to respond within the 2 hours defined time. So I add two level of response escalation. In the first level of escalation, I can choose as to when this escalation has to be triggered. Either it can be triggered on the time of the SLA breach, the response SLA breach, or it can be few minutes or few hours before the response SLA breach, or few minutes or few hours after the response SLA breach. So first of all, I at the first level of escalation, uh, before 15 minutes, okay, I choose to send out, I mean, before 15 minutes of the SLA being breached, or before the response time, I choose to send out an automated email to the owner of the ticket, asking him to take cognizance of the ticket and give a response to the customer, so that the response level or the response standard is not breached. So if you could see the screen beneath it, or the option beneath it, you would have this option stating whom to escalate. So either you can choose to escalate it to the ticket owner or anyone else in the organization. In my case, I'm looking to escalate or send out an escalation email to the ticket owner himself. So if you could see the option beneath it, you would see this agent notification template. That is, you can choose a template, email template that has to go to the ticket owner before 15 minutes of the response time. So that being said, beneath it, I have another option called actions on escalation, wherein I can choose to update or change the ownership of the ticket, or even update the priority of the ticket. So at the first level of response escalation, I do not choose to take any action, because this is something that I'm triggering 15 minutes before the response time. So I'm not going to take any action on the agent at this point. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a second level of escalation, wherein on the time, that is within at the second hour, whenever there was a breach on the response SLA, the moment it is breached, I choose to send out an automated email to the support manager in my Zoho Desk system, letting him know that this specific so and so ticket is now response breached. That is, a response wasn't given to that specific customer on time. So, as an action, of it, I can choose to update or change the ownership of the ticket to a different user, because the previous agent wasn't able to handle it on time. So to take an action on it, I can choose to change the ownership of the ticket to a different agent. And not just that, I can also choose to update the priority of the ticket. So I update the priority to medium. So remember, we have set up the response and resolution time. We have set up two levels of response escalation. At the first level of response escalation, I choose to send out an automated email to the ticket owner himself. And the second level of response escalation, on the time of the ticket being breached or the response being breached, I choose to send out an automated email to the manager of the support, letting him know that there was a breach of the on response SLA. So as an action, I also chose to update the owner of the ticket and update the priority of the ticket. So whatever we have seen right now is for the response escalation. The same can be replicated or shadowed for the resolution escalation as well. So if you could see this option beneath it, we have this something called resolution escalation. So as I enable this toggle, I'd be again able to set up different levels of escalation. So what I choose to do is maybe 1 hour before the escalation time, the response escalation time, I choose to send out an automated email to the ticket owner asking him to quickly resolve the ticket. So I choose not to take any action at this point. If you want, you shall also choose to take any actions like updating the owner of the ticket or updating the priority of the ticket. So I go ahead and add a second level of escalation. So at the second level of escalation, I again choose, I mean, on the time, the moment uh, the response SLA is completely consumed or exhausted, I choose to send out an automated email to the manager again, letting him know that there was a resolution breach on this so and so ticket. And as an action, I can choose to update the ownership of the ticket to a different agent who would be capable to address the ticket. And also, I set the priority of the ticket to urgent. So this is how I was able to set up the entire SLA, the response and resolution time for my premium customers in a specific department. And okay, so I click here on save. My SLA is now saved. So I know many of you are interested to replicate or shadow the same in your environment as well. But I would like to tell you something at this point of time. As with this given time, you would be able to build this SLA. However, since the SLA is something a time-based action, we wouldn't be able to execute it. So you shall. I'll just pause for 2 minutes so that you shall try to replicate or shadow this similar kind of SLA in your test instance as well. So let me give a pause for 2 minutes. So all you need to do is to click on the setup icon on the top right corner. You'll see the setup screen wherein underneath automation, you will have to click on escalate SLA. As you click on escalate SLA, we will have to remember that the service level agreement is a department specific feature. So you will have to make sure that you choose the appropriate department from the top drop-down list. Then you shall click on the new SLA button on the top right-hand side of your screen. As you click on the new SLA button, it would show up a page wherein you can give a name for the rule. As you quickly give a name for the rule, beneath it, you would have this option called add targets, wherein you can choose to define the criteria at which that this rule has to be executed. So if you could remember, I chose to execute this SLA the moment the ticket was created. Therefore, the response and resolution time will start calculating from the moment the ticket was created. And you shall also choose to execute this rule on different instances, like when a ticket is updated or when you get a customer reply as well. And if you happen to have any criteria, you shall have that criteria set so that the tickets satisfying that specific criteria alone is served with this specific response and resolution time. Beneath it, you shall choose to set a response and a resolution time for your organization. So it can be either in minutes or hours or even in days. So as you set this response and resolution time, beneath it, you would have this toggle called response escalation and resolution escalation. So this is where we are going to enforce the SLA standards religiously in your business process to make sure that the tickets are responded and resolved on time. So we shall add multiple levels of escalation, wherein you can choose to trigger this escalation emails on the time of breach or before the time of SLA breach or after the time of SLA violation. The same ways, you should also choose to take action whenever the response and resolution are breached or if it is violated. So I believe you were able to understand the ideology or idea of having an SLA for your organization. I would like to quickly give you two tip, which is not part of this thing, but I'd like to give you two tip. Um, with these two different problem statements that I was discussing earlier, in the first problem statements, we were assigning tickets to the agents. And in the second problem statements, we were setting up the response and resolution time. But this next question is, how would your agents know when a ticket is assigned to them? And how will your customers know when they submit a ticket to you, and when can they expect a resolution for it? So we have a quick small automation to bridge this gap. So let me quickly go back to Zoho Desk and quickly show you how you can do it. So as you click on the setup icon on the top right corner, underneath automation, we have this option called notify. Again, this feature is department specific, wherein you can choose to send out an email or SMS notification to either the agents within the organization or the contacts about different instances. If you could quickly read these different events, that is, you'd be able to trigger a notification to the customer when you receive a new ticket, and also you would be able to notify your agent when a ticket is assigned to them. So usually when you work in a small environment, when you assign a ticket to somebody, you can shout out to them that a ticket was assigned to them and ask them to work on it. But when you work in a geographically dispersed environment, there should be a need to notify your agents whenever a tickets were assigned to them, right? So we have these two notifications, contact notification and assigning a ticket notification, agent notification. So if I have this option toggle enabled under the email button, so an email would be automatically be sent to my agent whenever a ticket was assigned to them. And also if I could click on this, I would be able to edit the email template, customize the email template that goes to my agent. And also how we have set up a resolution time, response time, but how will your customers know that you follow this policy in order to address this requests, right? So what you can do, that you shall have this option enabled called receiving a new ticket underneath contact notification. And if you could edit this template, you shall define your response and resolution time. So the moment a ticket is created by your customers, an automated email would go to your customer the moment a new ticket was received, and you can mention your response time and resolution time so that they need not wait for long to get a response and resolution from you, when you let them know that this is your response time and this is your resolution time. Okay, so it's just a quick tip that I wanted to give to you. So now let me quickly move on to the third problem statement that I was referring to. How do we initiate time-based actions? There is always a need to initiate a time-based action. Now let me quickly show you something. Okay, in my tickets module, remember that I have set up a resolution time for my organization called 8 hours, and I have this specific ticket created by my customer. Okay, which has this subject called need help to and description called need help. Do you really think with this information I would be able to resolve the ticket? Definitely not. So as an agent, I tend to ask for more information, or I tend to probe the issue of my customer, right? So what I do as an agent, I tend to give a response asking him for more information so that I could work on it and expedite the process further. Assuming that I have sent out a response for this specific ticket, and if I don't get a reply back from my customer over a period of time, there should be an automation to automatically follow up with my customer to give a response to the reply that I've already sent to him, so that I could expedite the process and close this ticket within the 8 hours time. So this is where the concept of supervised rule or time-based action comes into picture. So as you click on the setup icon on the top right corner, underneath automation, you would have this option called supervised rule. So what basically the supervised rule is a time-based action. So what makes the supervised rule different from the workflows in Zoho Desk? So using the workflows, both workflows and supervised rules, you would be able to automate an email, automatically create task, or even automatically update fields in your system. But the major difference between workflow and supervised rule is this. Uh, Workflow is an action based rule. That is, when you do a specific action on the ticket, it would be triggered. However, the supervised rule is a time based rule, wherein you define a specific time. Based on the time criteria, the supervised rule is triggered. So let me quickly show you an example, and it would have more relevance with the situation I told you a few minutes ago. So I click on the create tool option on the top right corner. And again, this feature is department specific, and I choose to give a name for it. So I name it as follow up for more info. Remember, I will have to close this ticket within 8 hours, but I do not have a definite set of information to debug this case. So as an agent, I have sent out a response to my customer asking him for more information, and I'm waiting for a response to be gotten back from my customer so that I can work on it. So to do a follow up with my customer, I set up a criteria here in such a way that even if you could scroll down, you would see these list of time-based actions like hours since status updated, or hours since status closed, or hours since reopened. We have these different gamut of time-based features. So in my case, I name it in such a way, I define it in such a way that hours since requester responded is greater than 2 hours. So I've sent out a response. I have not gotten back a response from my customer for more than 2 hours. Then I choose to follow him up with an automated email. So I can choose to trigger an automated email or create a task or even update fields. So I have an email alert that I've already created, namely needed more info, and I associate that alert and I click on save, which means that after 2 hours if the time is more than 2 hours since the customer, that is the requester, has gotten back to me, an automated email would be sent to him asking him for more ticket on the so and so case, so that I shall expedite the process and close the ticket within the defined resolution time. So all you need to do is to click on the setup icon on the top right corner. Underneath automation, you would find the supervised rule, and you will have this button called create new rule on the top right hand side of the screen. As you click on that, you can choose to set up a criteria. So in my case, I have set up in such a way that hours since requested responded was greater than 2 hours. So I choose to set up a criteria, and then after setting a criteria, you can choose to send out either an automated email or automatically create tasks or even automatically update fields. And not just that, in spite of having these time-based action values, if you could look the drop down criteria, we would also have the number of other fields that you have added in the tickets module of your Zoho Desk. So you shall also choose to set up a criteria based on any other metrics with the time-based rules as well. So I believe I was able to successfully define three problem statements and link them to the solution we offered with Zoho Desk. I hope you found this session to be helpful. And if you have any further questions, you can drop an email to support@zohodesk.com so that we shall have your questions answered.
All right, so Srihar did a really good job at explaining, all the automations and the features in Zoho Desk. I hope, this session would have been really useful to every one of you. So just a quick recap, for those of you who missed what we did not see, we had an introduction by Srihari into what were the three problems that were to be discussed yesterday, followed by the assignment rule. He gave, a brief demo on the assignment rules, both direct and the round robin assignment rules, followed by SLAs, how you can set up SLAs to meet the service level agreements that have been defined with your customers, and finally he gave us a demo on the supervised function of Zoho Desk. Do not hesitate to drop an email to support@zohodesk.com. We have all our support agents to help you with any questions that you might have.